What is going on, Dolphins fans? It is your boy Dillon, and I want to make this video really quick because well, I watched earlier a episode, or a clip or whatever of the Tobin and Leroy show, and I'll put a link in the description box to the video so you can see their video for yourself. Excuse me, but the video was titled Tua Tagovailoa tells Miami Dolphins reporters his hip is 10 times better than last year. They talked about a couple different things in there. There's one thing that I want to get to specifically because I made a comment in the comment section on that video, and then I ended up having this like long debate with some dude over the conversation in my comments. And so that's what I want to talk about, and it applies to a topic that most people hate that I cover, but it's Tua's decision making and his would-be interceptions from last year. So just real quick, the comment that was made in the video, which you'll be able to see for yourself if you go watch it, was Leroy had said that Tua, and a lot of people think this, a lot of people say this, right, that Tua made really good decisions as a rookie, and that's one of the bright spots that you can take away from his rookie season. And the way that you know that is because he had an 11-to-5 touchdown to interception ratio. And so the comment that I made was saying that Tua was 11-5 isn't the entire picture. You also have to take into account would-be turnovers when evaluating their decision-making skills. Pro Football Focus and Football Outsiders, as a matter of fact, which I will get to in a bit because they actually have the numbers that I will give to you. And in fact, I will put those numbers up, somewhere in this video. I'm gonna, I'll get you some actual clips from these from their numbers so you can see it for yourself. And I'll even put a link to their website in the description box as well. But anyway, they both, Pro Football Focus and Football Outsiders, have his would-be turnovers from last year at 13, and I found 16 would-be turnovers. Let's be a little bit clear though. In their numbers, they're saying that Tua would have had 13 interceptions on the year, right? So in other words, they're saying that he had, in addition to the 5 that he did throw, he would have had another, what is that? 8? I found 16 other occasions in which he threw would-be interceptions. So my number would have had him at 21 total interceptions, which there was one player in the league that would have thrown 21 interceptions with the adjusted rate, which we will get to. But anyway, so I just wanted to clarify that because when I say that I found 16 would-be interceptions, that's on top of the 5 that he had, right? That's not even to say that all of them, would have, because look, the thing that makes them would-be interceptions is that the interception occurred, the mistake was made, but for whatever reason, due to penalty or so on and so forth, it didn't count as an official stat, right? And so I found 16 instances. Pro Football Focus and Football Outsiders found an additional 8 on top of the 5 that he did throw. So I just want to be clear on that. So when I say that I found 16, it's on top of the 5. Anyway, his decision making was worse than people say it is, and his touchdown to interception ratio is misleading if you leave out the would-be mistakes, right? So let's actually get to these numbers here, right? Because like I said, according to Football Outsiders, and I assume that Pro Football Focus has the same metrics and stuff. I only read through an article that didn't have the full breakdown when I saw their stuff. This is actually on Football Outsiders website that I'm looking at right now, and this has the whole breakdown of all qualifying quarterbacks. There were 37 qualifying quarterbacks based off of like pass attempts or whatever that registered for these statistics. So out of the entire league, right, Tua had about 13 for adjusted interceptions, right? Gardner Minshew was the best in the league at 7, and Carson Wentz was the worst in the league with 21. Okay, so like I said, there was one player in the league who actually would have had 21 interceptions if every single one of the would-be interceptions actually became an interception, right? So that's what that's saying. It's if every single would-be interception became an actual interception, then this player would have had that many. Carson Wentz was the worst in the league, and he would have had 21. Gardner Minshew was the best in the league with 7. Ryan Tannehill. Tua Tagovailoa was in roughly the middle of the pack at 13. So let's see. So he was, let's see. Okay, and then I didn't do that, the whatever. So when you look at his interception rate, okay, Tua Tagovailoa's interception rate was 1.7, right? So that was based off of the 5 interceptions that he did throw, which was actually 12th best in the league out of 37 qualifying quarterbacks. 12th best in the league. But when you look at his adjusted rate for interceptions, it goes up to 4.5, okay, which was the 6th worst out of 37 qualifying quarterbacks. And then when you look at the rate of differential between his interception rate and his adjusted interception rate for would-be interceptions, it's 2.8% differential, which is 2nd worst out of 37 qualifying quarterbacks. So, you know, this dude that I was arguing with, having this debate with in the comment section of this video, was trying to say stuff like, oh, the league average for would-be interceptions was 25, and so Tua was the best of the best, which is absolutely not even close to fucking true. The average, I mean, the amount of would-be interceptions, adjusted interceptions, to get to an average of 25, I mean, there would have to be players that were throwing like 30, 40 would-be interceptions. The highest was Carson Wentz at 21. So this dude was obviously completely full of shit saying that it was 25, right? Okay. And so he wasn't. He was actually, if you look at his interception rate, just based off of his interception rate, he was 12th best out of 37 qualifying quarterbacks. So he was only in the middle of the pack, roughly somewhere in the middle of the pack, slightly above average, right, at 12th out of 37 in decision making in that case. But when you adjust his rate for would-be interceptions, he becomes the 6th worst, okay? And that's what I've been saying. And then Tua's rate differential was also 2nd worst at 2.8%. He also started throwing in other stuff like, oh, well, what about dropped passes and stuff by receivers? Well, it's completely fucking irrelevant. It has literally nothing to do with this conversation. It doesn't change the fact that he actually threw 5 interceptions, and it doesn't change the fact that he also had a bunch of other would-be interceptions that if they would have counted, if they would have been, and they do this for all of the quarterbacks, so he would have been 6th worst with the 2nd worst differential, okay? Now look, I hope that changes, and I hope that he gets better at it, but to say that Tua Tagovailoa was good at making decisions last year as a rookie and give his 11-5 touchdown to interception ratio as proof of that is misleading, because it's not the entire picture. Okay, and also, if you're being honest, the league average doesn't even really have any relevance to the conversation, and this is one of the things that I was arguing with this idiot, was because we're not talking about him being compared to other quarterbacks in the specific conversation that was being had in the comments and so on and so forth. Now, in this video, I am actually comparing him to the rest of the league, right? You know, he was 12th best in interception rate, 6th worst in adjusted. But when you're talking about when the conversation is focused solely around Tua, not with the other quarterbacks involved at all, and you're evaluating whether or not he was good at decision making last year, the league average is irrelevant. It has no bearing on the mistakes he made, the would-be mistakes he made, and whether or not he actually made good decisions. Now, if you want to compare him and to see where he ranks in the league, he was, you know, in the middle of the pack, slightly above average in interception rate for the however many time now, 5th time I'm saying this, but 6th worst in adjusted rate out of 37 qualifying quarterbacks. So at the bottom of the league, and 2nd worst in differential. So anyway, that's really all I wanted to say. I don't intend to make this a super lengthy video. I mean, I already made the video, that had all of the 16 would-be interceptions on top of the 5. You know, all of Tua's 2020 interceptions, the 5 he did have, and the 16 that I found that were would-be's. You know, Pro Football Focus and Football Outsiders were a lot more generous to him than I was. They gave him 8 on top of his 5. I already made that video. I'll link that in the description box as well. So I'll link all these things in the description box so you can check them out for yourself. Because I'm not going to harp on it too much. And I just want to end this with saying, again, dude, it's not that I don't like the kid. I think he's a good kid. I think he's smart. I think he's got, you know, a good skill set, and he can play at, you know, a pretty high level. But there are things that I'm concerned about, right? Not just his injury history, but the more you look into it, you know, even, you know, the offenses that he's played in and what he's been asked to do, and you know, his ability to handle pressure, and you know, these various other things do concern me for, you know, his success, particularly with the Dolphins, because I don't believe that they're properly building the team around him. So I have nothing against him. It's just the reality of it, right? So, you know, that's, I'm just to try and prevent myself from reiterating that he was the 6th worst for adjusted, you know, in the league out of 37 when adjusted for would-be's, right? So just one more quick thing. If he did actually have, you know, 16 additional, that would have put him at 21 interceptions altogether, and he would have been the worst in the league, right? By a long margin. So, you know, they were more friendly to him than I was, but it doesn't matter, because either way it still shows and proves the same thing, that he was not actually as good at decision making as people point out. He does have a lightning quick fucking release, which can be super beneficial if a lot of these other things get hammered out, right? Or if all these other things, the concerning things, do get hammered out. So, and if he, you know, can prove to stay healthy. All right, with that, I'm gonna get out of here. I hope you guys appreciate my perspectives. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Share my channel and videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comment section. And of course, as always, follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. And with that, I am out. I'll see y'all soon. Fins up.